Hello everyone, what's going on? I am Zach,
And I'm John.
and this is Loudmouths. Today we are talking about console wars and console fanboys. People who just dedicate themselves to one console and are just completely hostile against anyone who isn't completely on their side. So I'd like to start off with the part of this that annoys me the most is the terrible reputation Microsoft and Xbox One got right from the get-go. Almost immediately after the console's announcement, it was set up to have a terrible launch hype-wise. I personally loved the things that Microsoft announced. I love the Steam-esque concept of how it's managing games and its online potential and everything. And I understand people like the old school, borrow games, be able to just pick up a disc, pop it in, and whatever.
Yeah.
But I think DRM, the Steam way of doing it, is the future. And that they didn't go with that isn't as much concern to me. What's concerning to me about all this is the fact that fan rage, and I almost want to say fan misinformation or maybe misinterpretation, led Microsoft to backtrack on a lot of their ideas. Like a Kinect is no longer bundled.
Yeah, because
and whatever. I love Kinect. I can't imagine the console without Kinect.
It would be. It's so hard to navigate without being able to just say. I'm not gonna say it because it screws up my. Not gonna say. That's the word that shall not be named. When
the
Kinect
console
is on.
that shall not be named.
Don't say it.
Record that.
Yes.
Or go to Skype and it does it, and it's amazing. If I'm not playing a game, I am not using my controller.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything else with my voice, which is amazing. Now, the hand gestures, if you're not playing a game, aren't too great, but that's beside the point. And it seems like game media outlets like IGN, GameSpot, VG247, and all that, they're just fueling this stuff. Every time a game isn't 1080p on Xbox One, they have a whole article about it. Every time Sony announces some minute update, and they're making an article about it. It just seems that they're very Sony bias.
It gets really
I don't
annoying.
understand why. I think that as gamers, we should all be open to all gaming experiences.
Yeah, because
Oculus, whether that be Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, Oculus Rift, computer, you're just restricting yourself if you're abiding to one thing.
You limit yourself to so many games. Like to make the Xbox and PlayStation connection, like. I have an Xbox. I can't play Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet looks like an awesome game, and I've played it before on a PlayStation. It's a sweet game, and I'd love to get my hands on it, but I don't have enough money, obviously, for both consoles. And then the PlayStation is missing out on Project Spark. And Project Spark is...
And Project Spark... Like, we made an After Dark, Silent Hills PT remade.
Yeah.
And we were terrified.
Yeah, it was scary.
Of a cartoony remake of an actual horror game. And I've played Flappy Bird, I've played Slender, I've went to Riverwood from Skyrim. Project Spark is an amazing game and is in different aspects than how Little Big Planet is amazing. They're both fantastic games.
They both have
but if
their
you just
own
have one console, then you're just restricting yourself. And it's like it's like this bias isn't just about Xbox. A lot of US gamers have a really strong bias against Nintendo. They assume that if you own a Wii or a DS, then you're either a little kid or then you just need to grow up. But I respect Nintendo almost beyond that of Microsoft and Sony, because despite lack of sales, despite potentially losing money, they stick to their first-party exclusives, which are the best exclusives of any console. Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, that trio, and you win.
Exactly.
And they're not focused on graphics. They're not focused on frame rate and resolution. They're focused on the gaming experience.
Yeah, they really keep to the roots of what a gaming company is.
And if you start to focus on whether you're going to get 1080p in Call of Duty or whether Shadow of Mordor is going to hit 60 frames per second, then you're focusing on the wrong aspect of gaming.
Yeah.
For example, I like Xbox because of its online capabilities. I like the party chat. I like being able to Skype with anyone, regardless of whether they're on a console or a computer. I like the multiplayer community, but I also like PlayStation because of its exclusives. I like the user interface of PlayStation, but I prefer the Xbox controller.
Yeah. There's
So,
just like
there's
things
there's
on
pros
both
and cons of
sides.
everything.
like
And
everything
if you
has
ignore
its-
them, or if you're completely dedicated, then you're just missing out. And I understand for money. Like, for example, I would have a PS4 if I could afford it. I only have an Xbox One right now, but I do plan on getting all the consoles, Wii U, PS4. But if you don't have the money for it, that's understandable. But
Yeah.
if you're not buying a console out of pure hatred, then you're just missing out
it's
on a
just
huge experience.
it's just sad that people would really bias that hard, not even look up what each system has to offer before just jumping on one and saying, "Oh, I like
Yeah.
this one the most." It's not fair
Like-
to the developers. It's not fair to yourself. It's just stupid.
And like the bullshit about like, oh, Microsoft is spying on you with Kinect. No, that's
It's like, why?
that's just, it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
just utterly ridiculous. And with that, we have hit our time limit. Thank you for stopping by and listening to us rant. If you have an idea for what we should do next week, be sure to let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or in the comments section. And tune in next Wednesday when we are loud-mouthing about something else.
Something else.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.